Thursday, January 21st, 2021, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So silver's looking very good technically, not just because it went up yesterday quite significantly, but the chart is showing me that, it's ready to make a move higher. I think the next leg up could take us very close to $50 per ounce. And why do I say that? Well, because looking at the last move higher, it was from around 12 to 30. So from the low in March to the high in August, it was an $18 move. So if we break through 30 very soon, we could see an $18 move. You add that up, 30 to 18, you get around 48. When it's going to happen, it's not going to be tomorrow or next week. I think it's a matter of weeks, months, but definitely I would say before the end of the year. And I expect silver to continue to outperform gold. Yes, we've had kind of a consolidation in the gold-silver ratio. The key level here is 70. We need to break below 70. The other commodities are also falling behind. I noticed the mining stocks did very well yesterday. I didn't really look at the indices, GDX or the GDXJ, but the mining stocks that I hold went up significantly. So it was a good day. I think First Majestic Silver, which I have, was up 10%. It was up, I think, almost 10% the day before. So I think we're starting to see a move in silver after months of consolidation. So I like to talk also a little bit about what's going on in the world. Of course, I'm not going to ignore what happened yesterday. To be honest, I didn't even watch the inauguration. I watched a clip of it afterwards. But one thing that I think is certain that happened in the previous 4 years with the Trump administration is that we're going to continue to see a lot of debt. We saw the national debt go from just under 20 trillion, I think, when Trump came in, to almost 28 trillion. I think it's going to get worse, even with this administration now, the globalist administration or the Biden administration, because I have to admit, even under Trump, yes, he said a lot of things that made sense. He did do things that helped the economy, like cut taxes, cut regulation, but he increased the size of government. He increased the debt. He was running budget deficits even before the pandemic started last year. He did things that were not very anti-globalist to like keep working with the Federal Reserve. I even noticed in his farewell address, he mentioned the stock market. He keeps mentioning the stock market. While you have millions of people out there who don't have a job, thousands upon thousands who are homeless, people lining up in their cars for miles to get food because they don't have enough money. So, yes, the world is really screwed up, in my opinion, and that's why I always try not to get on the bandwagon of movements, political movements, because you're bound to be disappointed. And that's, I think, the major outcome of the last, 4, 8, 12 years, a lot of division, a lot of disappointment. And I'm sure now the people on the left are going to look to someone who's been a politician for almost 50 years to change things. I saw a little meme yesterday. It had a picture of a young Pelosi, young Schumer, and a young Biden. And if you add up how many years they've been in political office, it's like 114 years. And now they're supposed to come along and make everything better. I mean, it's just you have to be really asleep and not thinking to realize that this is just a game. But yeah, so the debt is going to continue to go up. The Leviathan, or the state, is going to keep sucking tribute out of the public. What's that mean? Well, that's taxing you, maybe not even through very much higher taxes, but I think that's going to be the case, but also through the inflation tax. Yes, they've really brainwashed even the experts in markets, economics, into not knowing really what inflation is. Most people think we don't have inflation. Some people say, oh, we've got inflation for poor people, but not for rich. But it's very simple. It's like Occam's razor. Always look to the simplest definition or simplest things. And all it is, it's the inordinate increase in the supply of money and credit, not backed by real savings. So in a fiat currency world, that's unlimited, as we've seen since really 1980, when the national debt was just under $1 trillion when Ronald Reagan came to power, and now it's almost 30 trillion. So that's going to continue, and that's why I keep telling people that I'm going to continue to hold on to my precious metals, to my silver and gold. I'm going to keep stacking. For those of you who are new to the channel, who have wondered how to protect yourselves, well, that's how I do it. I'm not giving you advice, but and if you've never bought a gold or silver coin or bar, do your homework, Google things, look into it. I do have, though, a promo code for a bullion dealer in London. I've been dealing with the temples since 2002. It's Gold Investments. If you call them on the phone, they'll pick you up if they're not too busy. But you have a personal service there. You can deal online too. But if you want advice, you can talk to Oliver Temple or Simon Temple and use my promo code Monaco64. I also provide a referral code Mario Glint 79. That's a little different. You will own gold as well, but it will be in a vault, allocated into your name in Switzerland, and you will also be given like a prepaid debit card where you can really actually spend your gold if you want. So there's these two options. Now a little bit a look at the headlines that I see here, and yes, I subscribe to the FT, and very reluctantly, because the FT is really a globalist cesspit, I would say, but you need to keep an eye on what these people are thinking. More than ever, you need to look after yourself and your family. You need to try to use discernment and common sense to look at things, because it's very difficult to know what's true or not right now. But it says here, the main headline, Biden signals return to normality on first day as president. And they've got other headlines underneath here. Global policymakers look for Biden reset on trade, tax, and climate. It says Commander-in-Chief rejoins Paris Climate Accord and starts to undo Trump legacy. So yes, all this climate change religion, so to speak, I've spoken about it many times in the last few years. There's a guy called George Hunt. He died a few years ago, but if you Google George Hunt unset, you'll see who's behind this climate science or climate agenda. I'm going to put a link to that video below in the description and up in the cards, and you can watch that. So I remember working back in the city when I was a futures and options broker. The bankers were starting already a contract, I think it was around 2005 or 7, to trade carbon already. So this is nothing to do with safekeeping the environment. This is just an agenda for global control, because their argument that they give and people buy into is that carbon and environment is not something that is, you can keep it to your national border. So you have to do it globally, and you have to have one global power taking care of that. So yes, I think that's really blatant what they're doing here, that they wanted to get back on that agenda, on the global reset, on the globalist World Economic Forum. Will they succeed? Well, it's up to each one of us to fight them. And again, precious metals, not only protecting yourself versus the inflation that's coming, and the inflation that we've had, really. And by inflation, I don't mean rising prices. I mean the debasement of the currency that you use. Yeah, by having gold and silver, you're going to be outside the system. Because fiat currency is basically a loan to these people. When you hold fiat currency in your bank, it's an unsecured loan to the bankers, to the globalists, because they're all one, really. So that's what I have to say about that. So let's look at where the markets are this morning. It's almost 8:30 a.m. London. So we've got spot gold down a couple of dollars, just below 1870 here. High's been 1875 and the low 1866. Patience is required. Actually, if anything, the suppression and control of the price of gold and silver gives you more and more time to try to stack as much as possible. So it's a win-win situation. You need to try to think of in grams or ounces or kilos if you want. So what about silver? Well, silver is at 25.85. It's up just over 3 cents, so pretty much steady. The high's been 26.06, the low 25.67. The stock market, yeah, it's continuing higher. Wall Street loves stimulus. They love funny money, so they expect even more under the Biden administration. Not that Trump didn't stimulate either. Not that Trump didn't call for zero rates or even negative rates and more QE from the Fed. So the Dow right now is up 55, S&P is up 10, NASDAQ actually 100 futures unchanged. Currencies, yeah, we're seeing the pound up a little bit this morning, up 0.33% at 137.04. The euro is up slightly, 121.20, and the dollar is unchanged versus the yen at 103.52. Dollars unchanged versus the Chinese yuan at 646.50. Copper is up 0.33%, and WTI crude is down 2.3% at 52.94. To finish off, the 10-year yield. Yes, I definitely think there's some control, some intervention manipulation in the bond market, especially yesterday, where we saw Wall Street and the markets welcome more stimulus through the inauguration of Biden. We saw the stock market rally strongly. In spite of that, the 10-year yield stayed stuck at 109, basically unchanged. Doesn't make sense. In a market where there isn't manipulation, where the Fed and the Treasury aren't manipulating things, you would have seen rates go up really on the back of that. And this morning, it's down 1.2 basis points at 108. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Hive, DTube, Library, and BitChute. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.